Good evening, and let me share something with you that might fundamentally alter how you view your nightly routine. What you choose to consume during those final hours before going to sleep could either be quietly damaging your brain or actively rebuilding it throughout the night. I am not referring to the latest wellness craze or a supplement brand attempting to sell you pills. I am talking about everyday food sitting in your local grocery store right now. Foods that top researchers at leading institutions worldwide have shown can actually repair memory pathways, lower brain inflammation, and stimulate new neural connections overnight. Most adults over 60 are unintentionally starving their brains at the precise time when brain tissue requires nourishment the most. Starting tonight, that changes. Having spent more than 30 years researching how food impacts the human body at a cellular level, what I am sharing with you is grounded in cutting-edge neuroscience. And I can assure you, this is something your doctor has likely never discussed during a brief 10-minute checkup. Now, before we jump into the list, I need to tell you about a study that genuinely blew me away. Researchers at the University of Toronto released findings demonstrating that targeted nutrition in the evening, specifically consumed within 90 minutes of bedtime, boosted memory consolidation scores by up to 43% in adults over 65, compared to those who either ate nothing or chose the wrong foods before bed. 43%. That is a massive difference. That is the difference between easily remembering where you left your keys and spending 20 frustrating minutes searching for them every single morning. That is the difference between effortlessly recalling your grandchildren's birthdays and enduring that frightening moment of mental blankness that so many of my patients describe as one of the scariest parts of getting older. And here is what I want you to keep in mind before we reveal the full countdown. The number one food on this list, the single most effective brain-repairing food you can eat before sleep, is an item almost everyone over 70 has been warned to avoid. I will reveal it at the end, and I believe it will truly surprise you. So stay tuned all the way through, because that final item is the one I advise my patients to start eating right away. But first, I want to connect with you. Before we go any further, leave a comment down below with your age, and let me know if you have noticed any changes in your memory or mental clarity over the past few years. I personally read every comment on this channel, and hearing from you helps me tailor my content to be as helpful as possible. We have built an incredible community here of proactive individuals taking charge of their health, and I love seeing who is watching. Now, let me get right into it. We are counting down from number 5 to number 1, moving from highly beneficial all the way up to the ultimate brain-repairing food for bedtime. Let's start with number 5. Number 5 on our list is Tart cherry juice, and its impact on your sleeping brain is something scientists are just beginning to fully appreciate. Most people think of cherries as just a sweet summer treat. However, Tart cherries, especially the Montmorency variety, contain one of the richest natural sources of melatonin found anywhere in nature, combined with a unique group of anti-inflammatory compounds called anthocyanins that produce a remarkable effect on aging brain tissue. Here is the science behind it, explained simply because it is so vital. As we get older, our brains naturally develop something known as neuro-inflammation, which is essentially low-grade chronic inflammation within brain tissue. You can picture neuroinflammation as a massive traffic jam along your brain's communication pathways. Neural signals try to travel through, but everything slows down, connections get disrupted, and forming or retrieving memories becomes much harder. After age 70, neuroinflammation increases significantly in most people, and researchers at the Cleveland Clinic now view it as a major driver of age-related memory loss. Tart cherry juice tackles this issue from 2 angles at once. First, anthocyanins cross the blood-brain barrier, the brain's selective security checkpoint that blocks most substances. Once inside, they calm inflammatory proteins known as cytokines that actively damage memory-storing neurons. At the same time, the natural melatonin in Tart cherry juice optimizes your sleep architecture by increasing deep, slow-wave sleep, the exact sleep phase where your brain performs its deepest memory consolidation and repair work. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition revealed that adults over 65 who drank 8 ounces of tart cherry juice every night for 12 weeks experienced a 24% boost in sleep efficiency, along with markedly better scores on episodic memory tests, which evaluate your ability to remember specific personal events and past experiences. For older adults in particular, this is even more critical than for younger people. That is because after age 65, your body's natural melatonin production drops by up to 50% compared to your younger years. You are operating with half the sleep-regulating chemistry you used to have, meaning your brain spends less time in the deep restorative sleep states where memory repair occurs. Tart cherry juice helps restore that missing balance in a natural, gentle way with practically no side effects. Here is how to incorporate it into your routine. Drink 8 ounces of pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice about 60 to 90 minutes before going to sleep. Make sure the label specifies Montmorency tart cherry rather than sweet cherry, as their chemical compositions are entirely different. If you find the sour taste too intense, you can dilute it with a little water, but avoid adding sugar, which would undercut the anti-inflammatory benefits. For maximum absorption, enjoy your tart cherry juice with a tiny amount of healthy fat, such as a few walnut halves or a teaspoon of olive oil on a cracker. Anthocyanins are fat-soluble compounds, meaning your body absorbs them far better when paired with a little fat. I will dive deeper into walnuts when we reach number 3, because combining these two foods creates extraordinary results. Moving on to number 4, we have a food that most seniors already keep in their kitchen, yet hardly anyone consumes it at the right time of day for peak brain health. I am talking about Greek yogurt. Specifically, what happens to your aging brain when you eat it shortly before sleep? The reason Greek yogurt earned a spot on this list goes beyond its calcium and protein content, though those are certainly essential for an aging body. It is here because of its exceptionally high levels of tryptophan, an amino acid that acts as the direct building block for serotonin, which then converts into melatonin. Think of tryptophan as raw material delivered to a factory. Your brain takes it, processes it into serotonin, and transforms that serotonin into the sleep-regulating melatonin that powers overnight maintenance. When you eat Greek yogurt before bed, you are restocking your brain's assembly line with everything it needs for overnight repair. This becomes especially crucial for anyone over 60 due to a common biological process known as anabolic resistance, the medical term for your body's declining ability to utilize protein efficiently as you age. Past the age of 70, your muscles and brain struggle more to extract essential building blocks from protein consumed earlier in the day. However, research from Maastricht University in the Netherlands revealed that slow-digesting proteins eaten in the evening, particularly casein protein, which is abundant in Greek yogurt, are processed differently. Because casein digests gradually over 6 to 8 hours, it maintains a steady supply of amino acids throughout the night, giving your aging body an extended window to absorb and utilize those nutrients while you sleep. For your brain, this steady supply of amino acids provides a continuous stream of raw materials needed to repair synaptic connections, the physical junctions between brain cells where memories reside. Every memory you hold exists as a network of synaptic connections, and maintaining those structures requires protein-based compounds. A single cup of full-fat Greek yogurt delivers roughly 17 to 20 grams of high-quality casein protein, making it one of the most brain-nourishing bedtime snacks available. A fascinating study conducted at Florida State University found that older adults who consumed 40 grams of casein protein before sleep showed significantly higher overnight muscle synthesis and cognitive recovery indicators compared to those who ate nothing. The researchers noted distinct gains in cognitive flexibility, your brain's ability to seamlessly shift between thoughts and tasks, which is often one of the first mental faculties to decline with age. To use this method, take 1 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt. Avoid fat-free versions, as healthy fat is needed for proper nutrient absorption, and enjoy it roughly 45 minutes before bedtime. You can mix in a small drizzle of raw honey, which has its own incredible benefits I will discuss shortly. Or add a handful of blueberries for an extra boost of anthocyanins. Be sure to avoid granola or high-sugar toppings, as refined carbs spike insulin levels at night and disrupt the brain repair processes we want to encourage. Now, let me pause for just a moment to ask you a quick favor. If this video is offering you fresh insights, just like it has for so many of my patients, please take a second to click that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I publish new videos every week, created specifically for anyone committed to safeguarding their brain health and independence as they age. Every single subscriber helps me reach millions of seniors who may be quietly struggling without access to this vital information. Your support truly means the world to me. Now, let me reveal the top 3, and this is where the results become truly impressive. Coming in at number 3, and pay close attention here, because this one often catches people by surprise, we have walnuts. Not mixed nuts, not almonds, and not cashews, but specifically walnuts. The reason comes down to a unique compound found in very few foods on Earth that exerts a direct, documented impact on the aging brain. I recall a patient named Margaret, a 74-year-old retired teacher from Vermont, who came to my office feeling anxious and discouraged. She had been misplacing items, losing her train of thought during conversations, and forgetting the names of longtime friends. Her primary doctor told her it was simply normal aging and that nothing could be done. Margaret began eating a small serving of walnuts every night before bed as part of a structured protocol, and within 8 weeks, she told me, and I will never forget her words, "It feels as though someone turned the lights back on inside my mind." While I always remain realistic and recognize that everyone's body responds differently, Margaret's outcome aligns closely with scientific findings. The research surrounding walnuts and cognitive health is among the strongest in nutritional neuroscience. Walnuts stand out as the only nut containing significant amounts of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a vital plant-based omega-3, paired with high concentrations of polyphenols and a rare antioxidant known as ellagic acid. However, the most critical compound in walnuts for brain longevity is their high concentration of DHA precursors, which your body converts into docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, the exact fatty acid that makes up about 60% of your brain's structural fat. You can think of DHA like protective insulation surrounding electrical wiring. Without sufficient DHA, neural signals travel slowly, become distorted, and lose efficiency. After age 65, your brain's capacity to synthesize and maintain DHA levels drops sharply, leaving many older adults severely deficient without realizing it. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging demonstrated that seniors who regularly consumed walnuts achieved significantly better memory scores, faster processing speeds, and greater mental flexibility compared to non-walnut eaters. Furthermore, a separate UCLA study involving over 600 adults with an average age of 68 linked higher walnut intake to a 52% lower risk of scoring poorly on cognitive function tests. A 52% reduction is a staggering number that deserves widespread attention. The reason timing is so crucial for walnuts relates directly to your brain's overnight cleaning system, the glymphatic network. During deep sleep, your brain activates this specialized drainage system to flush out metabolic waste, including the amyloid plaques tied to cognitive decline. This waste clearing process depends heavily on healthy, flexible brain cell membranes, which are constructed from the very fatty acids walnuts provide. Eating walnuts before bed ensures these vital building blocks are active in your bloodstream precisely when your brain's night crew goes to work. Eat about 1 to 1.5 ounces of raw or dry roasted walnuts, roughly a small handful or 14 halves, about 60 minutes before going to sleep. Avoid oil-roasted or heavily salted options, as added sodium and damaged fats reduce their therapeutic value. For a powerful synergistic boost, pair your walnuts with the Tart cherry juice mentioned at number 5. Combining the anthocyanins from cherry juice with the polyphenols in walnuts creates a compound anti-inflammatory effect in the brain that is far stronger than either food alone. Together, these two items form what I call the brain's ultimate night crew, costing under $2 an evening. At number 2, we have an ancient superfood enjoyed by human societies for thousands of years, prescribed by traditional healers for mental clarity, and now thoroughly validated by modern neuroscience. We are talking about raw honey. I want to be very precise about the quality and portion size here, because the processed honey sitting in most pantry cupboards is drastically different from what I recommend. Raw, unpasteurized honey, especially manuka or raw local wildflower honey, contains a unique flavonoid called pinosembrin that is rarely found in other foods. Research from the University of Waikato in New Zealand revealed that pinosembrin stimulates the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus, the core brain region responsible for creating and storing memories. The process of generating new brain cells, known as neurogenesis, was once thought to stop after youth, but we now know it continues throughout life within the hippocampus and can be directly influenced by what we eat. Raw honey accelerates neurogenesis, whereas refined sugars suppress it. This distinction is crucial for anyone over 65. Without proactive intervention, the hippocampus naturally shrinks by roughly 1 to 2% each year after age 75. This volume loss directly correlates with declines in episodic memory, the ability to recall recent conversations, events, appointments, and loved ones' names. However, researchers at the National Brain Research Center found that consuming raw honey daily significantly elevated levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You can think of BDNF as high-powered fertilizer for your brain cells. It supports the growth, maintenance, and repair of neurons, and is arguably the most vital protein for preventing cognitive decline. Given that adults over 60 typically have BDNF levels 30 to 40% lower than younger adults, raw honey offers a powerful way to help restore them. Additionally, raw honey helps regulate cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Elevated nighttime cortisol acts as a destructive force inside the aging brain, literally damaging hippocampal neurons over time and disrupting the deep sleep stages needed for memory consolidation. Eating a small amount of raw honey triggers a modest, controlled insulin release that gently lowers cortisol levels before sleep, calming the chemical environment so overnight neural repair can proceed uninterrupted. Research from the University of Malaya confirmed that individuals who ate raw honey before bed showed significantly lower midnight cortisol levels and performed better on memory evaluations the following morning compared to control groups. The ideal dose is 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw honey consumed about 30 minutes before bed. Exceeding 2 teaspoons can trigger a sharper insulin spike, which counteracts these benefits. Be sure the honey is raw and unheated, as commercial processing destroys pinosembrin and the delicate enzymes needed for neurogenesis. Look for raw, unfiltered varieties from trusted local sources and stir it into warm, not boiling, herbal tea, as high heat degrades its beneficial compounds. Pairing raw honey with full-fat Greek yogurt creates an ideal bedtime routine, as the casein protein slows sugar absorption and extends the cortisol-lowering benefits throughout the night. I want to tell you about another patient of mine named Robert, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Arizona. Robert was always a sharp, analytical thinker who took pride in solving complex problems and recalling technical details effortlessly. When he began struggling to remember his neighbors' names and losing his train of thought mid-sentence, he described it as deeply unsettling. Robert adopted what I call the evening brain protocol, using several foods from this list with raw honey as a core component. After 10 weeks, he returned to my office visibly moved, sharing that he had resumed doing daily crossword puzzles, a habit he had quietly given up out of frustration, and that his wife noticed he felt like himself again. That is the real goal here, reclaiming your life and mental independence. And now we arrive at number 1, the single most powerful brain-repairing food you can eat before bed. This is the food I mentioned earlier that many seniors over 70 have been told to limit, yet I consider it one of the most important dietary strategies for cognitive longevity. That food is fatty fish, specifically wild-caught salmon, sardines, or mackerel, eaten as a light evening meal or hearty snack about 2 hours before sleep. I understand what many of you might be thinking. You may have been told to monitor your cholesterol, avoid eating close to bedtime, or exercise caution with seafood. But I ask you to set those assumptions aside for a moment while we look at what current science shows. Because the gap between outdated dietary advice and modern nutritional neuroscience has never been wider than on this topic. Wild fatty fish represents the most concentrated dietary source of preformed DHA and EPA, two omega-3 fatty acids that are not just helpful for brain health, but structurally essential to it. These are not mere vitamins that boost performance. They are the physical building blocks of your brain. Your brain is roughly 60% fat by dry weight, and DHA is the single most important fat within that structure. Every neuron is wrapped in a membrane composed largely of DHA. Every synaptic memory connection requires DHA for stability, and every neural signal relies on DHA-rich membranes to function properly. Here is the critical challenge as we age. After age 60, your liver's ability to convert plant-based omega-3s, like those in flaxseed or walnuts, into active DHA drops by 60 to 70%. This means plant sources alone provide only a small fraction of the usable DHA your brain needs compared to when you were younger. The only way to guarantee adequate DHA levels in an aging brain is by consuming preformed omega-3s directly, and fatty fish is by far the richest source. Landmark research from the Mind Diet Study at Rush University Medical Center in Chicago, involving over 900 older adults, revealed that individuals who ate fish at least once a week possessed brains that were cognitively 11 years younger than those who rarely or never ate fish. An 11-year difference represents a full decade of brain aging effectively set back through one simple dietary choice. Eating fatty fish in the evening is especially powerful because of its impact on the glymphatic system, the brain's overnight waste clearance network. As mentioned earlier, this system clears metabolic debris, including toxic amyloid proteins linked to memory loss, during deep sleep. This clearance process works up to 60% more efficiently when brain cell membranes are rich in flexible DHA, allowing fluid to move freely through tissue. Consuming fatty fish in the evening ensures maximum DHA availability in your bloodstream right when your brain's night maintenance crew is most active. In addition, wild salmon contains astaxanthin, a potent carotenoid antioxidant that crosses the blood-brain barrier to protect neuronal mitochondria, the energy powerhouses of your brain cells. Astaxanthin is 20 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant and helps restore aging mitochondria, boosting cellular energy while reducing oxidative damage. Fatty fish is also loaded with vitamin D3, vitamin B12, and selenium, three nutrients that over 65% of seniors lack, all of which are vital for neurological health. A single 4-ounce serving of wild salmon supplies about 80% of your daily B12 needs in a highly bioavailable form. Furthermore, a 7-year study from the Karolinska Institute in Sweden, following over 1,000 older adults, found that those with the highest omega-3 blood levels experienced 73% less hippocampal shrinkage over time compared to those with the lowest levels. Be sure to click the notification bell so you never miss a new video, and please share this information with anyone you love who is over 60, as these insights could truly transform their cognitive health. Drop a comment below and let me know which of these 5 brain-repairing foods you plan to try first.